Hi, I'm April Novak at the Noise Factory in Memphis, Tennessee. I'm here today to interview Kevin Ballard. He's no stranger to the Memphis music scene. He grew up playing at the New Daisy Theater on Beale Street, Club 616, Stage Stop, and the Antenna Club, just to name a few. He recorded and performed with Geffen recording artist Roxy Blue, toured the Southern College Circuit, and has recorded an impressive catalog of albums to date. I'm here today to talk with him about his newest CD, Killing Powers Baby. Where on earth did you come up with that name?
You're about the fourth person that asked me that today. Somebody wrote a poem in high school and they used the first letter of my first, middle, and last name, KPB. And I won't reveal the poem and I won't reveal the author of it. And it wasn't a romantic relationship by any means, but at the time I was naming the album, there was just no other semblance of words or string of words that could describe the content of the record. And only one other person knows what's in that poem, so it kind of lends itself to the mystique of the record. So,
how many CDs have you released to date?
This is the fourth solo album. I also did a record with Jimmy Sanders called Press the Button, and they're available on iTunes. Space Station, the last record, and this one, Killing Powers, is available on iTunes internationally, and also on Napster and Amazon.com downloads.
I understand that this particular album took you 5 years to complete. Why did it take so long?
Well, with previous records, I was very much in control. I could go in and say, I could listen to the playback and say, this song needs this string section. It needs to come from this keyboard over here. And then I would plug it in, cut it, and be done with it. This record was very much in control of me. And what I mean by that is I would hear something and I knew it needed a specific sound and I knew it needed a specific part, but I wasn't really sure what that part was. And so it was kind of like trying to fit the puzzle piece into the space, and I got kind of obsessive compulsive about it too, and that's why it took about 5 years.
So some of this material then was recorded even before the Red Acid Rock CD?
That's right. I was laying the framework down for this record as early as that, and a couple of the songs, they were taking too long, and so I would just move along and come back to them later, and so the Red Acid Rock stuff became the Red Acid Rock stuff, and then those songs came on later.
I'd like to talk about the Four Horsemen. So you used 4 different guitar players on this album, and then in 5 if you include yourself?
That's right. I've been very fortunate over the years to have such talented musicians at my disposal, and more importantly, such talented friends. Jimmy Sanders has been with me for the better part of 12 years, on and off projects. And Below Page and I go back before even that, and I won't tell you how much further back because then I'd be showing my age. But Fred Collier, who I met through Jimmy, is also one of the guitar players, and he has a vast knowledge of chords and chord voicings, and his contributions were invaluable. And then the newest addition is a guitar player by the name of Richard Lusk, who's the guitar player for a Memphis group called Bean. And he tackled some of the solos that some of the other guitar players steered away from. So I was very lucky to have him cut on the record, and he's got a great David Gilmour type Pink Floyd sound.
So who would you say has influenced you the most and had the biggest musical impact on you growing up?
Well, vocally, I think it would be vocalists like Freddie Mercury of Queen, Steve Perry of Journey, singers like that. But definitely bands like Rush and Yes and Kansas and the Jefferson Starship and groups like that had a definite impact.
So tell us all, what does Killing Powers Baby sound like? How, what groups could you compare it to?
I could compare it to Pink Floyd probably, Simply Red, maybe some Missing Persons and Human League thrown in there. It's just got a lot of different stuff going on. And I think there's something for everybody on there too.
So what was it like growing up as a musician here in Memphis, Tennessee?
Well, it was just a magical time. I mean, the glam scene had just hit, and I started doing it when I was about 14 years old, and if you were working and in the band and playing someplace, you had an all-access pass. You didn't have to be 21 to get in. You didn't have to be 21 to drink. and you could pretty much go wherever you wanted to go in the backstage area, and just, it was just a really fun time.
So if you could relive one night of your musical career, which one would it be and why?
Well, several come to mind, but probably the coming out of Roxy Blue. That band had so much hype, and you know, it was a show at the Stage Stop, and you know, Sid Fletcher, the guitar player, had just come out of GIT, and back then that was a big thing, and Ronnie Knight and Josh Weil were the perfect rhythm section, and up to that point, everything Todd Poole had touched was golden, and he was just a fantastic singer, and he just rehearsed us to death. And when we finally came out, there was no worry about hitting a bad note or missing something on a song, because we were playing those songs in our sleep, and it really transferred over to the live show, and the place just went nuts. And that's when I knew.
What venue was that in?
Oh, well, it was about 90.
What club were you playing in?
The Stage Stop in
great.
Raleigh, yeah. And it was, that's when I knew I'm going to make it.
Yeah.
And of course, they went on to sign with Geffen, and I went on to get my high school diploma.
So you were how old then? You were a teenager still?
I'm about 18 years old. Yeah.
Now that you've produced your own record, have you thought about producing any other groups?
I thought about it. I tried it a couple times, but I'm such a control freak with the music that I would probably snatch the instrument away from whoever's cutting it and say, no, you got to do it like this. And then it would end up being a Kevin Ballard record, and that probably wouldn't work for anybody.
So I've listened to the disc, and I noticed there's some really emotional stuff on here. Can you explain the meaning behind Someone Who Believes and Fallen Statue?
Someone Who Believes was a song about the death of a friend, and I think the first line in it is, someone called me today to tell me you were gone. And it's basically a song about me stepping outside myself and turning around and looking at me and pointing my finger and saying, you know, you could have done so much more for this person. You know, you weren't there at the end. Things that you could have done but didn't. And so I really was kind of hard on myself with that one. The Fallen Statue song was basically a song about growing up. You know, it's a song about, we as artists, we spend so much of our lives building ourselves into these monuments through playing out live or videos or music or whatever, and we put these statues of ourselves out there for people to see. And mine has kind of fallen down, I guess. I felt like, and at the end of the day, it's okay, you know, because success by and large is measured by happiness. And I know a ton of people that have tons of money and tons of success, and they're not happy. And that's not the case with me. And that song's coming to that realization was what that was about.
I heard that you've done some music for a film recently. I
did.
Which is pretty cool. So
yeah.
Can you tell us about that or some other projects you've been working on?
Yeah, I did some music for an independent film, David Winston's Tomorrow in the Scene. And that was a really neat experience. I did a song with B-Lo Page, who also plays on this album. And the song is called Flying Blind. And it premiered at the Paradiso downtown. Cool. And, or is it Midtown? I think Midtown. But it was really neat to see our names go up the credits. I had never seen that before. And then I did a comedy for Fuel Film's 48-hour film launch. Shelby Farrell's film, Vampire My Dear, which is on YouTube. She used a song from Red Acid Rock and also 2 songs from the Space Station CD. So that was a lot of fun to do.
The question everybody wants to know, any live dates planned?
No live dates as of yet. However, there is a live project planned, and Jimmy's involved and Fred's on board, and I'll extend an open invitation to the other horsemen if Richard and who did I leave out? B-Lo want to jump on, they can too. But we're going to do a live acoustical jam. I've got some acoustic songs I've written, and I want to go out and perform them in a garage setting, and we're just going to record the audio, and we're going to record the video as well for YouTube, and we're going to do it in an afternoon. So I'm going from one extreme to the other. I've gone from taking 5 years to do an album to doing one in 5 hours.
Nice. So with all of your experience in the music industry now, do you have any words of wisdom or advice for young people who are trying to break into the industry?
Yeah, don't do it. Get a job. If you're serious about it, I mean, the only advice I could give is to stick with it, but don't do it at the expense of not being able to pay your bills. I mean, you know, you got to take care of business too. You can't be solely dependent on that or you'll starve. And the other piece of advice is what everyone says is don't play other people's songs. Create something new and provocative and special and make it your own.
What song would you say you had the most fun creating, singing, or recording on this CD?
Little Black Idol, hands down. It was a great time. I had a little black action figure, and I wrote a song about it. And I won't divulge the name of the action figure because I'll get sued by Lucasfilm. But anyway, it was fun. I got to play guitar on it, and it's got a juvenile type chorus, and it was just a blast. But I don't know if it's a hit or not, but we'll see.
One last question. Who is Kevin Ballard when he's not recording, writing, or performing?
He's just this guy, you know. I mean, I'm like everyone else. I like sports and doing outdoor things and cooking and just normal stuff. I involved in martial arts. I like taking that. I take it to a place called Bland's Martial Arts in Memphis, and I've been doing that for 2.5 years, and that takes up a lot of my time. So I'm just having a ball these days.
So everybody make sure you check out kevinballard.net for more information, and definitely find his album on iTunes. I'm April Novak at the Noise Factory in Memphis, Tennessee.